Hi, Sylvia here, and welcome to January's video here on magical mundanity. January has, except for a few mornings and afternoons, been cold, windy, wet and dark, so the desire to get out there for nature walks has been somewhat non-existent. We did have some snow as well, but it was too warm, so it didn't stick. So I didn't actually capture much of the outside this month. Instead, I cozied up a lot with my journal, had some fun with watercolor pencils, which I'll show you in this video. I've also been working on refining my monthly lunar calendars, which I will also show you later on in this video. And that's pretty much it. January has been slow and quiet, and yet my mind has been very active. I've thought a lot about goals and intentions and resolutions and the difference between them, and how I've navigated the first month of this new calendar year a little differently. A big part of that shift has been learning to embrace my own pace and my own rhythm, and I shared more about that journey in my letter over on Substack this month. So as I'm going on this meandering with you, if you're watching the video version of it, you will see me doing bits and bobs with my water-soluble pencils this year, with a lot of resistance, I might add. I've been a lot more mindful of my goal setting. I took the holiday season to truly unwind from everything. I had some time off from my day job, which generally means I pack the schedule with my side projects, and even though I enjoy my side projects, I often get to the end of my time off a little exhausted and burned out. So this holiday season, I allowed myself to do nothing. I stayed in bed with my breakfast and coffee, just reading and journaling. I played board games. I went for a few walks around the block, spent the holidays with family, and just soaked up the soul-nourishing environment of just twinkly lights and good food and great company. This year, I deliberately chose to tread lightly and gently through these dark months. In December, I rediscovered my water-soluble pencils and allowed myself to just create with no agenda, just for the fun of it, just for the hell of it. I allowed myself to explore a new medium with playfulness, awe, and curiosity. And it reminded me of the importance of playtime and downtime, which nourishes our souls, but also our creativity. It reinvigorates us. It reinvigorates our creativity and the offerings that we do have for the world. And this playtime with the watercolor pencils was deeply nourishing, but also challenging, which I love. I love learning new things and expanding my comfort zone, and these little pencils did all of it. Watercolor is a new medium for me, but it is a medium I love greatly. So without knowing I'll discover my pencils, I actually picked up a watercolor book from the local library just before Christmas. And the reason why I picked it up was because it was a book on landscape drawing, and that is something I am naturally drawn to, having done landscape photography for years. So I actually picked up some more books on watercolor and watercolor pencils particularly. I discovered an artist called Charles Evans, he has a great beginner book for that medium. So I dove in, I drew, and I painted some trees which were trickier than I anticipated. The first version that I painted was just too rigid. The lines didn't flow like the actual trees. They're not perfectly straight, are they? So I didn't get the jagged or the gnarly edges, and when I tried it for the second time, I was able to capture them better. I was able to work the brush over the pencil in a way that created a beautiful texture to the tree trunks. The lines I found were more natural, and the way the different tones blended into each other were a bit more pleasing to the eye. So yeah, that has been a really, really delightful discovery and a little personal creative project that I love coming back to here and there, especially with being part of Sarah Burns's Discord channel and Patreon page. And in fact, her most recent tutorial was on watercolor pencils, so this was really useful and fun exercise and just really timely. So yeah, I would highly recommend getting some watercolor pencils and just sketching away. On this second part of the video, I want to talk about a professional project that I've ended up setting myself. If you're part of my Substack community, you'll have noticed I started creating monthly lunar calendars. Creating lunar calendars has really been a dream of mine for a couple of years now. Last November or December, when Zach from Geometriptomine shared his lunar calendar tutorial during one of his full moon sessions, I was over the moon. With a little pun in there. I knew straight away that I wasn't just interested in copying his designs moving forward. I had this desire to take the template and make them my own and make them work for what I need and what I look from a lunar calendar. And hopefully along the way this will resonate with other lunar lovers. Here's a little thought process behind February's lunar calendar. I remember so clearly day when the design came to me. It was Boxing Day and we were sitting and relaxing at Nick's mum's for the holidays, and I noticed this beautiful diamond element on one of the candle holders on her coffee table, and I could straight away see the center of a mandala. So I started by creating a seed of life pattern which creates 6 petals in the middle, and I used them as a guide to the diamonds and then just layered them with more diamonds. I then went on to create the petals and the leaves. As you can see, the final piece has stippled elements as opposed to the initial drawing that I had just filled up edges. And I actually prefer the softer effect that stippling creates, and I also prefer the process of stippling. I find it really invites me to cultivate patience and joy in the mundane. I also knew that I wanted to improve my lettering. I borrowed a couple of calligraphy books from the library and practiced what's called a versal type, and I ended up loving the look of it, so I actually used it for the month as well as for the dates. I knew that I wanted to refine the actual lunar phases. Again, stippling just seemed to add the softer and the gentler effect that I was looking for. In my monthly letter over on Substack, I also posed the question for my readers and my listeners and dear viewers. I asked whether you'd be interested in a private community where not only will you get these nitty-gritty process updates as I'm creating these lunar calendars, but I'm also imagining it as is a space where fellow lunar wanderers come together to share our moon wisdom with each other, to pull tarot cards together and to journal together. I also have this desire, this little nudge to send out little physical goodies, little goodie bags that are related to the moon. I would love to invite you, if you're not yet over on my Substack, to take part in that little poll that I created. I thank you for that. And this is where I will love you and I will leave you till next time. Thank you for watching, as always. Thank you for your lovely comments. Thank you for the likes. Just thank you for being here.